Hi, I'm Drew,
I'm Harley.
I'm Nancy,
and we're the
we're
Bound
Bound
in
in
Book
Book
podcast.
You can expect a fun time, some curse words, and a lot of discussion. Our episodes will both feature guests and be conversations between the three of us.
We do intend to stay spoiler-free for the majority of our shows. Our guest episodes will feature a spoiler section towards the end. We're here to be an author, reader, and industry at large safe space to discuss books, opinions, and feelings. But we are going to keep it positive.
We want listeners to know that we are not here to bash your favorite stories or authors, but may discuss things we didn't like too. And we hope you join our discussion over on social media and enjoy the episode.
Made my drink, and I was going into my room. I was like gonna close the door, so no one bothers me. And my dog was like right at my feet, and he bonked his little head on the door because he was like right behind me, and I didn't know he was right behind me.
The poor baby. The amount of times that I accidentally kick Jack right in the face when I'm walking, because he likes to be right by my feet. And so sometimes I'll be like, I'll pick my feet up. I usually like just chug my feet along the floor, right? But sometimes I'll pick my feet up and I'll get him right in the bottom of his chin, and I can hear his jaw snap shut. And I'm like, "Oh, baby."
Oh no. Oh my God, that also happened to me today. Like the little dogs, they just love to be like right next to your feet, and it's like, babe, you're gonna get kicked.
I mean, in all fairness, my big dogs also like to do that, but I'm not kicking them because their bodies are up a little bit higher.
Mhm. Oh, I see, I see.
I have gotten Brody on the stairs before. He's been like following me up the stairs and he's gotten kicked.
Poor baby.
Yeah.
My cats do that too. My one like fat cat, especially when it's like breakfast time, he goes like right where I'm about to step and I have to walk so slow. I'm like, dude, you're gonna get stepped on.
My cat likes to try to trip me, so. But I think that's just what cats do, to be honest.
Cats are
They like to lead.
mischievous.
Yeah. Mine is just an idiot, but.
Oh.
Okay, so today we're doing a Q&A episode courtesy of all of our lovely listeners. So we are gonna start with one of the questions from Jax. It's kind of more of an open-ended question. She just wants to know more about us, like our likes and our dislikes. And specifically, she wanted to know about me moving to Vegas and then Harley's knowledge about horses. So I'll
Which
start. Oh yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say sorry to interrupt. I'm actually not sorry to interrupt, but um I think it's so funny that she was like, "How do you know about horses?"
I think it's funny too because it's probably just because we talk so often in various discords and then like we text and whatever. I'm like, oh yeah, it's like it seems like it just goes hand in hand like Harley and horses. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Like
You're like,
why would
"Yeah,
why wouldn't you know about horses? But I'm like, oh yeah, I guess not everybody would know why you know so much about horses.
yeah." So, I mean, I'll get into it. Go ahead and talk about why you moved.
Okay, so I moved to Vegas from California. Because California is so fucking expensive. I could not afford to live there anymore. I'm not even from California. I'm originally from Hawaii, and I grew up there, and I moved to California when I went to college because I got into UCI, and I lived there for like 7 or 8 years. And I loved it. I love living in California. So I lived in like Southern California, Orange County, where all the rich people live, and I just could not afford to do that anymore. And that's why I'm here in sunny, sweltering Las Vegas.
I don't think I knew you grew up in Hawaii.
I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
I
That's
don't
cool.
really advertise it a ton.
Why?
Um, like, I don't know, I love being from Hawaii, but I feel like as soon as you tell someone that, they're like, "Oh yeah, I went to visit once," and then I'm like, "Yeah, that's cool." I don't know, it's such a bitch thing to say. It's just I was just like, "Yeah, Hawaii's cool." It's like it's just such a vacation destination. I'm like, it's weird being from there.
Mm.
Actually, I kind of experienced something similar, like, especially now that I've moved away from the area. When I lived in the area, this certainly didn't happen, but now that I moved away and people are like, "Oh, where did you move from?" And since I live in Texas, I'm, like, very hesitant to say, like, I'm from California because most people are like, "All these Californians coming to Texas," which, like, that's a whole other debate. But I lived in Northern Nevada for almost 10 years. I lived just outside of, like, the Lake Tahoe area. I lived in Reno, and people are like, "Oh, yeah, I've been to Tahoe," and I'm like, "Yeah, I bet you have."
See, you get yeah, yeah, it's like, I don't know what to say, I'm just like, "Yeah, I don't know." The next questions, I was like, "Are you Hawaiian?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not."
What is
Which I
your
don't mind.
I was like, "What is your ethnicity?" Is that the right question, ethnicity? Is that rude?
Yeah.
If that's rude, you don't have to
No,
answer that. I'm so sorry.
I don't think it's rude. No, I don't think it's rude at all. If you ask me, like, what country I came from, that'd be rude, but no, I'm Filipino and German. I'm, like, super whitewashed, though, I don't know a lick of any dialect of Filipino. It's so sad.
Is that just because your parent doesn't speak Filipino? Is that even the right way to ask? Is Filipino a
No,
language?
that's there's,
Bro,
like
I
okay,
don't
so
fucking
there's, like
know.
there's Tagalog, Ilocano, Visayan, there's probably more, but those are, like, the main 3 that I know. My parents both speak fluently. My mom is from the Philippines. My dad went to high school in the Philippines. Like, they're super Filipino. I think it was just a thing where when my mom moved to the US and, she raised her kids here, she was kinda just like, "My kids are American. I'm just gonna speak English to them." And that yeah, and it was really weird, and they just never really spoke it to me. They spoke around me,
Mm,
so maybe, like, 1 or 2 words I can pick up, like, I can pick up the gist of what they're saying every once in a while, but, like, if they start going off, I'm just like, "Yeah, I count me out of this conversation, I have no idea what you're saying."
that's so interesting.
Yeah, yep.
What?
Nancy, what are your share some fun facts about yourself?
Um, huh. I'm trying to think of something. Um,
Where are you from, Nancy? I don't think I even know what state you're
so
in.
I currently live in Louisiana. I grew up there, but I was born in Oregon, actually. Um, my family only lived there for like 3 years after I was born, so I don't remember Oregon at all. Uh, so my family actually moved to Louisiana when it was a bit after Hurricane Katrina, which um was a really bad hurricane in, let's see, 2005, if I'm doing math right, 5 or
Yeah.
6.
All I
Um
the only thing I think about when I think about Hurricane Katrina is Kanye West saying that George Bush doesn't care about black people.
Oh, I forgot about that.
I did too. Um but after Hurricane Katrina, my parents, like, are not parents, family in general, very involved with like our church and ministry and stuff like that. And my dad took a trip down to Louisiana to help with like rebuilding um after Hurricane Katrina, and then my parents made the decision that we would just move here and help more long term. And we just stuck around since then.
Aw.
So, um,
Are you religious, Nancy? I don't sorry,
yeah,
please feel free to stop me if that's an intrusive question.
no, it's okay. But yeah, I am a Christian. So,
Oh, nice,
um,
nice.
Are you, Drew?
I was gonna say, I apologize if I shit on Christianity ever. Um, because no, I'm not. I'm like a hard atheist. But I was raised in a Christian household and I like went to private school all throughout elementary and middle school. And so sometimes I do shit on religion, but I do apologize if I do that in front of you, Nancy. And
it's
I
okay.
don't shit on people who believe in religion. It's more just like my personal experience with it.
Yeah, I get it.
Are you religious, Nancy? I mean, sorry, Harley, are you religious?
I was like, Nancy just answered that. Yes, but like not like go to church every Sunday. But like I believe in God. I don't know how to answer that question, I guess. Like I wouldn't say that I'm Christian, like I didn't go, like I haven't been baptized or anything like that, but Josiah and I used to go to church, like when we lived in Northern Nevada, we found a church that we really liked and we went all the time. We were like really involved in the community there. Things just changed a little bit when we moved.
I see, I see.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, so horses. Okay, so I don't know if I've mentioned it on here before, but my partner, Josiah, which like I've mentioned him before, but he's like comes from a ranching and farming family. Like his dad is a career ranch manager, typically hunting ranches, which um those are like higher fenced, a lot of times completely like self-contained ecosystems. Like they raise it's a lot of times deer, sometimes it's not just deer, but like they'll say it's just deer. They raise um cull, like take care of deer herds for people to come in and hunt. So that's like what he grew up doing. And then I grew up in a small gold pan town in the middle of Virginia. It was like a gold rush community, and so there's a lot of forestry, and it's also really, really steeped in agriculture. There's a lot of beef cattle there, and there's a lot of it is mostly beef cattle, and there's a lot of like rodeo and horses there. So I grew up. My mom is like horse girl, trademark, obsessed with horses, and so from the time I don't even remember us not having a horse. We've always had at least one. So I grew up with horses, took lessons, didn't love it the way my mom did, but like I'm a decent rider. I did a little bit of showing when I was a kid, and then moved to Reno, which is also very deeply steeped in agriculture. They've got a lot of beef comes through that area, and then also again rodeo. There's a lot of rodeo stuff out in that area too. And then Josiah and I got together, and then we moved to Texas, and I lived on a cattle ranch for a year and a half. So, and now I host an ag education podcast. So I don't just have the show with you guys. I also host another show that's all guests I bring on and talk about agriculture. So that's how I know about horses.
That's super cool. I love your ag podcast. It's really interesting to learn about.
You listen to it?
I've listened to a couple episodes. I thought it was really
Oh
cool.
my gosh, I didn't know
I
that.
I find that kind of stuff really interesting. I mean, it's just cool to hear that personal aspect of like where our food comes from, because I feel like you hear a lot. You can like see a lot in documentaries and whatnot, but just hearing it like from a source, like a direct source, is really cool.
That's been one of my favorite parts about doing that show is like there's a lot in um, media that is very anti-ag, specifically anti-animal agriculture. So that would be like beef cows raising chickens for meat, pigs, all of that. It's like very anti that, and a lot of it is aimed at the ways in which people who do not work or live in the industry view actions of people who do. Um, like the example that we use all the time when talking about it on the show, because this is a very, very common one. People will see like cattle prods being used when we're pushing cows through chutes. And for those of you who don't know what a cattle prod is, it's like a little stick you push a button and it sends like a little jolt of electricity. Um, it doesn't like it doesn't cause injury. It like you can use it on a person. It doesn't feel good, but it isn't like electrocute you, gonna kill you. And so those are common to like use to move cows through chutes or like to move them around if you need to, because you do like you bump them with it and it makes them jump and then they move. Um, but people see that a lot of the time as cruel. They're like, you wouldn't use that on your dog. No, my dog is 100 pounds. This cow is 1,300 pounds.
Mhm.
That's a really, really big difference. So talking about like those things and putting those things into perspective, or talking about like this is actually like a relatively humane way to do it. Like if you get a static shock, that's like what I would compare it to, is like you get a static shock, you jump a little bit, but you're like, oh, that wasn't a big deal. Like putting those things into perspective for people who maybe didn't have access to know that is my favorite hands down part of the show.
That's cool. That's super cool.
Yeah. Um, okay, the next question also from Jax. We have a lot of questions from Jax and from Christina. I think like 90% of our questions came from the two of them.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys. I'm thrilled that you want to know all of this. It's so cool. Okay. How do you find time for reading? Do you make time or do you just have time? I find time. Absolutely.
I definitely have to find the time, especially now. Like as a kid, it was much easier to just have the as an
Mhm.
adult.
Mhm. Yeah, I find the time. I personally will choose reading over maybe doing things I should be doing in my home. Like,
Mhm.
I I put off cleaning my bathroom for at least 2 weeks because I just had to read. Like, I distinctly did that, and I was like, "Fuck, I need to clean this tub, it's nasty, I need to clean." And so I finally did it. Or, like, I'll be honest, I read at work sometimes, like, if I'm not super busy, I'll read at work. I am slightly obsessed, like, it might be, like, a little bit of ADHD, like, where it's like, I'll put off doing other things to read, so, yeah.
I find myself doing the same. I'll be like, I will do absolutely anything, but the one thing I need to get done right now.
I think it helps that a lot of us, like, all 3 of us, we don't have kids, like, we
Yeah.
just we work, we do our hobbies, we do, like, our outside businesses that we may be doing, and then we just get to do what we wanna do. Like, we don't have other people to care for, so that really helps, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also like I used to watch a lot of TV and watch a lot of movies at home. Um, but now instead of doing that, I pick up my book and I read. And a lot of times it's like in the same room with Josiah while he's watching TV or watching a movie. But I choose to read instead of watching the movie.
Mhm. Same, same. I'll read in the car. If I can get my boyfriend to drive, then I'll read in the car. Anywhere. Anywhere I can.
Yep.
Have you guys been doing audiobooks? I feel like, Nancy, you've been doing
I
audiobooks
I
recently.
do. I haven't been doing as many audiobooks as I normally do. Partially because I mostly get my audiobooks through Libby, and I'm currently like not able to borrow stuff on Libby for some reason. I think I might
Oh.
have a fine at my library, and I keep forgetting to go check. It's probably not even that big, but so I haven't been doing a ton of audiobooks recently, but that is where a good chunk of my reading comes from. Recently at least. I do a lot of driving for my work, so it makes it easier to get reading in that way.
That's nice. Yeah, I wish I could do audiobooks. I start to get distracted. Like, I genuinely like, it's so hard for me sometimes, like, if I'm multitasking and then I'm like, "Shit, I just missed that whole chapter."
Still do that sometimes, but like It's better than, like, as a kid, I tried to get into audiobooks, and I was like, "Yeah, no, I can't do that because I just zoned out on the last, like, hour. I don't know what's going on." Um, I found that, like, being able to speed up the narrator helped. Um, but also, like, doing more mindless things, like driving, not actually mindless, obviously, but, doing something like driving helped me out a lot with being able to focus on an audiobook. I still zone out a little bit, but not so much that I can't figure out what's happening.
Mhm. Makes sense.
I I don't do audiobooks at all, which always surprises people because I do a lot of podcasts, but I just can't. When I hear stuff, I don't get a vivid mental picture of it, but when I read stuff, like read the words, whether it's, on my tablet or a physical book, I get a really vivid mental picture and I can like watch a movie, but I don't have the same experience when I'm listening.
I feel the same. Yeah, it's just hard. It's really hard. Like, I try, but it's not yeah, it's like you have to try a lot harder in my experience, but then when I'm reading, I don't have to try at all, it just happens.
I might be able to do it as a reread.
Oh, I should try it. We should both do an experiment and try and see if that helps.
Yeah, we can do that.
Most of the time when I reread books, I do them through audiobook. Like, if there's an audiobook available, that's how I typically reread.
Oh, actually, yeah, I started Spark and it was a lot better than normal au like, just starting a brand new world. Sorry, Nancy, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. I will say that fantasy audiobooks typically take a little bit longer to really, like, just get, I guess, get into might be the word I'm looking for. Um, like, when I started Blood and Steel, I read that as an audiobook, and I started it, and I stopped it after a couple minutes because I was like, I'm sure this is going to be great. I just don't have the brain power to listen to the world building right now. And then I came back to it like a few days later or something and it was fine. But
That's
Have you
fair.
only read the first Blood and Steel book?
I started Vows and Ruins. I'm not sure what chapter I'm on. Hold on. My Spotify um
Hmm,
reset, so I'm
that's right.
dang it, it's not labeled by chapters. I'm not sure what chapter I'm on. Like, if you go to the audiobooks on Spotify, it just says track number, and that doesn't always line up with
Oh,
chapter numbers. So,
right.
Oh, I didn't know that. I'm sorry, I wanna
yeah.
go off on a tangent and just say that Spotify sucks ass, especially, like, when it comes to audiobooks, it's like because 'cause I've heard, because I don't listen to audiobooks, but I've heard from so many friends, it's like, "Yeah, I can listen to, like, 1 book a month," and it's like, "What what the fuck?" Like,
Not
who
even
thought this
that.
through?
I'm probably
Not
going
even?
to have to, like, if it's fantasy, no, it's 15
Oh.
Yeah,
hours,
you get 15
Oh
hours.
my god.
which I'm pretty
Who
sure
thought that
Vows
was
and Ruins
okay?
is longer than 15 hours.
Like, I feel like, okay, if you're listening to podcasts or even music, or I don't know about music, but maybe, like, podcasts in a month, 15 hours, like, makes sense. It's like, okay, that's, like, potentially 15 podcasts.
Yeah.
But with a book, that's, like you said, with a fantasy, it's not even a whole book. That's such bullshit.
Yep. Um,
I will start a riot on Spotify if you'll join me.
yeah,
I'm sure it'll really do a lot.
I think it's just them trying to, like, get people to spend more money with them, which, is dumb, but
Oh, because
um
you can buy more hours?
yeah, you can buy more hours.
I see, I see, I see, I see. Okay, okay. That makes sense. Fuckers.
Like, from a business standpoint, I'm like, I can see what they're doing. I still don't think that's the best business model because you're just making people annoyed. But you know, I don't control Spotify, so
People have the power, Nancy. If we all
yep.
just no, I'm just kidding.
Let's just
I'm just
all
kidding, but
write
I'm not
angry
really just kidding.
emails to Spotify.
I mean, I would.
Us and our 10 listeners that are here.
I'm sure we're not the only ones.
I'm sure not. Okay, our next question is from Kyle, who gave us permission to talk about him as much as we want on the show. So I'm thrilled. He said, if there is a book cafe if there is a book cafe with a witchy, cozy fantasy vibe that sold only romantasy books with a strong emphasis on indie authors, would you go? And I
Yes.
can't believe he actually asked us that question because yes, of course we
Yeah.
would.
It's a
I
hard
would even
yes.
go
He
all the way to
knows.
Virginia to go.
We'll do a road trip. I'm in Nevada. I'll drive to you. I'll pick you up. I don't know the map that well, but I'll go to Nancy next, and then we'll make our way to Virginia, wherever that is.
That'd be such a long fucking road trip, but it'd be so much fun.
It would.
Drew, from
I
Vegas
would.
here, it's literally like 17 hours of driving.
Oh my god.
And then to Nancy, I think is probably another 6 or 7 from my house.
Maybe
I
we'll
think
do a train.
maybe.
A
Maybe we'll
train would be
train
good.
it. Trains are fun. This is
Then
a
we
Then we
can
great
could
read.
read.
excuse. We can read, exactly. We'll have uninterrupted reading time on the train.
Okay, here's the question though, is would we have uninterrupted reading time or would we just talk the whole entire time?
No,
That's a good
I
point.
think because 'cause we're all readers, I think that after, like, a couple hours of talking, we'd be like, "Okay, time to read now," right?
Yeah, I know you're
Like,
probably right.
for sure, for sure.
Drew, you would get all your reading out before me and Nancy even got on the train.
Oh my god, yeah. Yeah, I'd be like, "You guys, did you bring more books?
Like, can you guys
I've
bring
been
me an
here.
extra book?
I've been here for the last 2 days on this train."
Literally, so my dad took a train from my hometown here, and it was from Chico to LA and then LA to Austin, and it was like 3 days.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Do you get to sleep on the train? They have,
Yeah.
like, cots? That's cool.
Well, he paid for, like, a room.
Oh, cool. Oh, nice. Oh, that's
I mean, it was
cool.
just, like, a little tiny, like, suite, but it was, like, a room, and then, like, bathrooms are shared.
I'm probably romanticizing it so much, but I'm just, like,
Yeah.
imagining Harry Potter. Like, I'm just
No.
like, "Oh, Harry
Well,
Potter," and then she's gonna come by with her little candy carts.
I would say it's probably closer. Have you ever been on a cruise ship?
No.
Oh, never mind then.
I've been on, like, the subway, the BART.
I've never been on a subway.
Not great. Okay, moving on to our next question from Jess. What is our favorite line from either each of the Coven books or one of the Coven books, and why? I hope you
And
guys have an answer because 'cause I'm unprepared.
I do have an answer, but I think we decided to just do one book, right? Because there's like 18 books out right now.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
just
I
gonna
think
do
we
one.
decided to do just one.
Okay, let me get it pulled up so I don't fucking butcher it. Okay. Mine is from the Storm King, and I don't want to say, I don't think it's spoilery. I don't know.
It's
Now
probably
I'm
not. If
nervous.
there's as
It's
long as
probably
there's
not.
not names. There's not
There is
just
one name. Xander's name is in it.
oh, that okay, I mean, it's
It's about his mental state at the beginning of the Storm
I
King.
think it's okay. I mean, as long I think it'll be okay. Oh my god.
Anyways, Nancy, if you don't want to hear it, plug your ear. So mine is from The Storm King by Sheila Masterson, who was our lovely guest a couple episodes ago now. And The Storm King is the third book in her Lost God series. And the sentence is, now Xander was all unspent thunder and wasted lightning. And I think about that line probably like once a day.
That's pretty. Even though it's sad.
It's the beginning of The Storm King is like the most heartbreaking thing I've ever read. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Actually, I mean,
Well,
I know. The Godless Kingdom.
It's up there. You know what? It's up there.
It's up there, it's up there.
I
It's
you know
like
what? Yeah, I was like, it's not even necessarily this it's not the saddest moment in the whole series. Like there's sadder moments, but the first like 3 to 5 chapters, like that era is like the
mhm.
saddest.
Like the somber feeling you get.
Yeah. Yeah. Nancy, do you have a
I
favorite
think I
line?
have one. I'm going to go with that because I was just scrolling through some of my highlights and I'm like, oh, that one's really good too. So I'm just gonna go with this one. And mine is from Long Live, and the quote is, "Even the devil has a heart, love, as cold and black as it may be."
Ah, ah,
Ooh.
It's
ah,
a really good
yes,
line.
And it's actually
yes.
really funny because in Bessie's Discord server, your name is the devil in there.
That's right, but
Oh,
that
I
is
didn't realize.
unrelated.
It is, but it's very funny that that's what you picked.
Yeah. She just said I might have made a deal with the devil, and then in parentheses said Nancy on the comments of one of her posts, and so I changed my name to the devil in parentheses Nancy. I didn't even think about that correlation until now, but now it's never changing.
Well, that's like mine and Nicole's will probably it'll change maybe to like another variation of what it is. But I felt so sad when I was like Nicole's nude or whatever the heck I was. I don't remember. And I was like, oh, but now no one's gonna know who I am because I'm so associated with my name in that Discord.
Too funny. Okay, mine is from Illuminance by Kara Douglas. And okay, it's "You're too violent for a woman, too out of control, his voice weak. I look him directly in his eyes, and when I do, I don't find an ounce of regret in his gaze. I say, without an ounce of doubt, I am violence."
Oh,
Mm.
that's so good. I actually reread that passage last night for reasons, and I was just like reading it again. I'm like, God, it's so good.
I love like that one just hits. It hits every time. I want that like tattooed on my chest. I am violence.
Yeah, me too. We could do it.
Uh,
That
Okay.
could be that could be the matching tattoos we get in LA. Since
Okay.
Jenny just went and did whatever the fuck she wanted.
I know, Jenny.
Uh,
You have to get more tattoos with us, Jenny.
I do you think on Wednesday after I do my training, we're gonna go find a tattoo parlor and I'm gonna get the brave with my hand brave with my heart tattoo though?
Wait, this Wednesday?
No, no, when in LA.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I
I
can't do it. I
misunderstood
can't
you.
do it in the summer. I spend too much time outside.
Oh, that's fair. That's
Yeah.
fair.
I spend too much time doing water stuff in the summer.
Oh, yeah. That
Yeah.
makes sense. Oh, I wanna get the brave with my hand, brave with my heart tattooed also.
We're all gonna have it one day.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That'll be you can be officially inducted into the cult when you get your brave with my hand brave with my heart tattoo.
Is that'll be the cult tattoo?
Yeah. Mhm. Well, I really want to get I want to get it on my forearm, and then I want to get like under it one of the weapons from each of the series because every single series has like a specific weapon associated with
I
it.
I thought about that. I don't know. I think, like, my lack of artistic prowess is just, like I'm like, "Well, how would I make it look cool to have a bunch of, like, knives and daggers and whatnot?"
I
I
mean,
mean,
that's for me to know.
That's for the tattoo artist to know.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna come in with my sketch from all the all the sword merch that I've made and say, this is what I want.
Oh, okay, that's a good point. You do have the merch you're making, so you have, like, an idea in your head already.
Yeah.
That's fair.
also, at least quite a few of them have the weapon on the cover too.
That's a good
What
point.
what besides Long Live has the weapon on the cover?
Blood and Steel, the new cover for Threaded, uh, Dagger. Um,
Oh yeah, I guess they all do.
it's also in the title for that one.
Although, what the hell are you talking about, Nancy? I'm just dumb. I didn't know it was on the Blood and Steel one because I don't own a physical copy of that book.
If that doesn't if Nancy doesn't deserve to be in the cabana for knowing all that information, she should just get
I
a little
wish
passy pass.
I wish we could just bully Drew, will you go bully Penn into letting Nancy in?
Why do I have to bully Pen?
Oh, she's in here. We could all bully her together.
We can
No, we can't
all
do that.
bully
We can't.
her.
No, we can't do that publicly because then other people will see it.
Yeah, you're right, you're right.
Um,
The
look.
only reason Penn came to this Discord is because I said someone had bad opinions about Tab. That was not me. That was not, because because I convinced her. It was because she had to right it wrong.
That is so funny.
The amount of times I've done that to her too, where I message her and I'm like, "Someone's saying stupid shit about Tab, come here." And then I send her where I am.
I know, she, like, comes in, she goes, "Heard you were talking shit." We were.
First thing
What
she
about
says.
it?
Funny.
Well, I feel like in here, like, obviously, the cabana is one thing, but, like, in here, she's like, there's not 2,000 people looking at everything she's writing. There's, like, 10 of us in here.
Yeah. Yeah, and most of us are in her Discord.
And yeah, a lot of
And
us are in her Discord. We're the usual
yeah.
suspects in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's a comfortable space.
Yeah.
The usual
Safe.
suspects.
That's what I don't know if you've ever heard me. I call, like, our collective group of people who's in, like, all of the Discords, who's, like, doing all the things, like, I just call everyone the usual suspects.
That's cute. I like that.
Yeah. It's the official cult members are the usual suspects. Okay. The next question is probably the hardest question that we got. Oh, fuck. I forgot my dare.
Oh, what was your dare?
Okay, I'll come back. I have to pick another favorite line because Christina dared me to sing one of my favorite lines that I choose from one of the Coven books. I have to sing it.
Oh, okay.
I'll come back. I'll pick a second. I'll pick a second. Quote. It'll be fine. I can't sing, so you're gonna want to cover your ears, definitely. Okay, so Abs asked us probably the hardest question on here. And it said, gun to your head, which I don't know why she said gun to your head. We would have just answered the question. But she said, gun to your head, what's your favorite book and why in one sentence?
She added the gun to your head to add the pressure.
I don't need the pressure. I would have just
Make
done
it
it. She
more
asked nice.
threatening.
I feel pressure already.
I don't need to be fucking threatened, man. I'm just gonna do it.
What's yours, Harley?
Oh, Two Twisted Crowns, by Rachel Gillig. It's the
Mm.
second in the Shepherd King duology, and it's my favorite, because the world building and the story that she was telling and the magic that she employed in the story to tell it was just mind-blowing. It was phenomenal. There is not a page of that book wasted. Every single sentence, it needs to be there. She crammed so much story into this duology. I can't believe there's only 2 books, and they're not that long. That's why it's my fave.
That's a good one.
That was more than
No,
one
it's
sentence,
technically
but
2 sentences.
that was a lot of
Oh,
sentences.
I already disregarded the one sentence. Don't expect that from my answer.
Yeah, I was gonna
Guns
say, I
going
think
off
she
there.
limited us to 1 sentence because of how many tangents we go on already.
Taz is, like, in her editing mode, and she's like, 1 sentence, and then we're like, a whole paragraph, and she's like, I said 1 sentence.
Yeah.
And
It's
in
like
this
mine will
essay,
probably be a run-on sentence, so
Perfect.
you go ahead, Nancy.
All right.
You go next.
So I decided to go with one of my childhood favorites for this, and it's Artemis Fowl, The Last Guardian, which is the last book in the series. I reread the series last summer, and like after getting back into reading and getting into audiobooks, And that series as a whole holds a really special place in my heart. Like, just rereading it feels like coming home, and that book wraps up the series so perfectly that, like, it rereading it as an adult, it still makes me cry. So for nostalgia reasons, that one's my favorite book um, of all time, I guess.
It's a really good series too.
Mm-hmm. You've read it?
I did when I was younger, yeah. Do I
I
remember all
I'm
of it?
always
No.
I'm always surprised when I find people who have read it, because I feel like it's not nearly as big as like the Harry Potter or the Percy Jackson, like those other series that like every reader kid read growing up.
That's true. I think Artemis Fowl, like, was one of those ones, like, I just kept seeing in the library, and I was like, "Okay, well, I keep seeing this
Yeah.
one, I'm gonna read it."
I do feel like I'm surprised that not as many like books to people read that growing up, because like that's where my love for morally gray characters started, was that series.
See, I don't even remember anything about it,
Well,
but I
Artemis
remember
is a
liking it.
criminal mastermind, and he was 12 at the beginning of the series.
I wanna be a cheater, I wanna see it too. Okay, fine, fine. Okay, I'll choose the one that's, like, actually a book, and my favorite book is The Alchemist by Paul Coelho, and it's one of the first books I read, like, I read it as a teenager, and it made me really introspect for the first time, I think, in my life, like, truly, truly introspect, and I read it again as an adult, and I was like, "Oh, this book is so good," and I'm seeing different things that I didn't see as a teenager, and it's just really sweet. It's a story about this this young boy who is just kind of going through life and trying to find himself in a way. And he goes on adventures throughout, and there's like some magic, and like some I guess you could call it like fantasy aspects. But it's not like super super duper fantasy in my opinion. And it's really cute, and I feel like every time I read it, I learn something different.
That's fun. Can I share a second book? Is that allowed?
I mean, we can do whatever we want.
Is Tab's gonna shoot me in the head?
She might.
Yeah.
Okay. So the second book that I was actually just like thinking about when you were talking about that is an autobiographical book called The Things They Carried by Tim O'Brien. I think his first name is Tim, it might be Tom, but it is an autobiographical account of his experiences in the Vietnam War. And it was one of the very first um, war stories that I read, and one of the very first books that I had that it talked about like the experiences of trauma and told the stories of like what really happens during war, especially like for those of y'all that may not know, that was a particularly vicious and brutal war. A lot of people didn't survive, like from the US. I mean, from Vietnam too, but from the US. And then the people that did survive came home and were treated like trash because the war was not supported by a lot of citizens. So it was very, very eye-opening. And I read it as the first time as a teenager. So it was very, very eye-opening to be 15 and be reading this book.
That's cool. That's
Yeah.
interesting. I feel like I wonder if this is like a common reader experience where in your teen years you get really into like the dark side of history because I was also very into like war and specifically reading about like the Holocaust in my teen
Me
years.
too.
Oh my god, like the Diary of Anne Frank, like, The Boy in the Striped Pajamas, like all those books, just
I
to
think
hurt yourself.
I think part of it is, well, one, it's required reading if you go to public high school, a lot of those are, but also, there's also this, like, part of you that as a teenager, you feel like nobody understands you. You feel like maybe you have, like, the most mundane existence or the worst existence, and nothing could ever be worse than, like, what you have, and a lot of that is, like, in my opinion, is, like, your hormones that are, like, raging and racing, and you're learning, like, where you are in your social hierarchies, and all of these things are changing very, very fast for you as a teenager. Um, but you feel drawn to and connected to this really dark history because you were interested in exploring the dark feelings that you might have, but that's like a very safe way to do it is through literature.
Mhm. I agree. I agree. Can I say second book since you said a second book?
No.
Okay, so my second book is The Little Prince, which is like a children's book, but it's so cute. And I think this is one of the first books that I remember feeling something when I was reading it. I was like, "What is this?" Like, this book is making me feel a lot. And I was like a little child. And it's so cute. Have you guys read that one?
I don't think I have.
No, but I just Googled the cover and it's really cute. It's like a picture book, right?
Yeah, I think, and it was originally written in French, I wanna say. Like, it's a
E
French book.
yeah, I'm not even gonna attempt the author's name, but
I know.
I mean, it looks really cool. There's a whole bunch of more. There's like The Little Prince, The Planet of Music, The Little Prince. Oh, there's a movie. Drew, there's a
There is a movie.
movie.
There's, like, I think there's, like, a couple movies. I only ever
Yeah.
read the original. I never read, or maybe I read the other ones and I don't remember, but I just remember the original one.
So there's a play, there's a 1974 film, and a 2015 film.
Okay, for someone who says they hate male main characters, why were my 2 favorite books with male main characters? Who the fuck am I? What? Tabs, take me out, take me out. I said 2 books, take me out.
Nancy, did you have a second book you wanted to add since we're breaking the rules?
Didn't have a second one prepared.
Okay, we can
So
move
That's
on.
'cause
That's
you're
fine.
yeah.
decisive. That's 'cause you're
No,
a
I am
Taurus
not
fixed
decisive.
sign.
I am super indecisive. I just was like, I need to have something, so I'm not just saying and like taking up a bunch of time thinking. So
No, you know what it is? You're better than us.
Yeah. At least we're not doing this on a live stream. I was actually talking to Nikki. I was in her DMs after her live with Helen, and I was like, she said it, she's like, she's like, oh yeah, they're they're fun. They're easy. I just don't like the sound of my voice. So she said she would be able to do a show like this where whoever edits has to like go back and listen to their voice. And I was like, I don't like doing lives because I sound like a fucking idiot.
Yeah, like, I'd be sweating, I'd be so nervous.
I've
Mhm.
done one live ever, and I was interviewed by somebody else, so like that was a lot easier. I
Mhm.
love
'Cause you just have to answer the questions.
if anyone who's listening wants to interview me for anything, I will do it. I love being interviewed.
Just Leo things.
I know. As soon as I said that, I was like, oh, it's because I like to talk about myself.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah. I was like, that's what's so great about doing this Q&A is we just get to talk about ourselves for like 2 hours.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Okay, the next question, please.
Our next question is actually from one of my IRL best friends.
Oh.
Her name on Insta is Meeksamil. Her name in real life is Mika. Sorry, I'm doxing you. Her
Do
question is, how has reading made an impact on your overall health and well-being?
you want to answer that first, Drew?
Sure. I'll say, I mean, it's definitely brought me back to who I was as a child. Like, it has. improved my health for sure, just my mental health, like, I'm a lot happier, um, being able to do this hobby that, like, I kind of forgot about during my adult years, and maybe sometimes I could see sometimes, like, if I'm feeling, kind of unwell, I definitely will retreat to books, and maybe it can get a little escapist, but I think overall it's really good for my mental health.
Yeah, I agree. It's good mostly for my mental health. Certainly there's some things that are not great, but um the the biggest impact that reading has had is not actually the books. Like I'm really, really enjoying consuming the stories, right? I have a blast reading, but it's been in the community that I've found through
Mm.
reading as an adult and like
Mhm.
finding you guys, finding our other friends that are on the other Discord servers, like that's what's really changed my mental health and well-being is like having this community of people who get it because like my best friend in real life, she likes to read, but she doesn't like to read the same things all the time that I like to read. Um, so like there's books that I love that she like read 10 pages of and said DNF, hated it. And there's books that she really likes where I'm like, I have no interest in reading that, so I'm not going to. So sometimes it's hard to like find book things that we have in common besides the fact that like we both really like to read. But like I know like on Discord, I know if I go in to Penn's Discord in the book recs right now and say, I'm reading this book, who else has read it? At least one other person's read it and liked it.
Mhm.
Probably a lot more than one.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true. The community is top tier. It's like the friends I always wanted kinda
Yeah,
thing.
Yes. And you
definitely.
definitely get back what you put in.
Mhm. Mhm.
Mm.
Yeah, that's true, and people are so sweet, like, they'll sometimes people will just, like, be like, "Hey, I have an extra book." Like, "Does anyone want it?" And they'll straight up just send you an extra book. It's Jessica.
Yeah.
It's Jessica is who I'm
Yeah,
talking
I
about.
was like, I just got my copy of the Godless.
Garrett did that for me too. Like, she had a few Coven books that she's like, I have extra copies of them, and she sent them to me.
Yeah, and I know Garrett's done that too, like,
Yeah.
a lot of the girls in the Discord are like, "Hey, I'm getting rid of books. Does anyone want them?" And it's such a sweet community for sure.
I will say, like, getting back into reading has definitely helped my mental health as well. It's also like I the community has helped me out a lot as well. Like I didn't realize before joining Booksta, like, you know, how how much even just online friends could mean, like, because I never had a community like this before, so it was like really really cool just being welcomed into this community, like the Discord servers, but even before that, just on Instagram, like the connections I made there. Um, and then like as far as actually reading as a hobby, like it definitely helps like being able to see myself in some of the characters I read about, like, and seeing them get, those healing journeys and stuff like that has also been helpful.
Definitely agree. I can't wait for you to read The Lost God. I feel like because you and I are a little similar, more similar in age, like, we're, like, in our 20s, like, similar to Cece's age too. She goes through a lot of growing up in your 20s shit,
Mhm.
and I think you'll really appreciate it because I know I
Mm,
definitely did. Because I know, like, talking to Harley and Jenny, you guys were like, "Yeah, like, not right now. That's not how I'm feeling right now, but I have felt that way," and you resonated with it, but I was like, "No, like, this is me, like, right now. Like, I am CC right now."
Yeah,
mm.
definitely.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited to read that series.
Okay, I just saw it come through. Jax's cameo corner is the best idea we've ever had.
Oh my god, yeah.
She is so fucking cute.
I love that you guys have been pinning it too, because 'cause I've been missing it sometimes.
Well, and we do talk in there quite a bit. So I'm like, oh yeah, it'll be nice to have them pinned. But that was so cute that she was like, oh my gosh, so many friends, and we're like, we'll make you a thread. You can just do an official count if you want. She was like, okay.
She's so cute. She's, like, made me feel so much more confident about this, whole podcast, honestly, because she's so
Yeah.
enthusiastic about it. Like, "Wow, someone's listening. Someone's out there listening to this." Even if it was just Jackson, even if she was, like, the only person that listened, I'd be happy with that. I'd be okay with it.
Um, Jackie would listen too.
That's true. Jackie would listen.
Jackie would listen. She was telling me, oh my god, okay. So she was telling me she was all excited to said we talked about her. I don't know if she put this in the Discord or if she was texting me. And she was listening to it and like laughing at what we were saying. And then she's like, and then I was at a stop sign, and then my fucking ex rolled up and waved at me, and I was thinking so hard about how much I love the podcast. I just waved back.
Wait, no, I think she said that in the cabana. I remember
Oh,
that.
okay.
I love
That
that.
That's
was so
so
fucking
funny. I just
funny.
waved back. Oh god, I would actually die. My ex lives in Vegas, you guys.
That's
I
fun.
don't I hope I
Ew,
never see him.
I saw somebody at the grocery store, like not here in the bigger city that's like 10 minutes off me. I ran into the grocery store. I saw somebody in the grocery store that looked like an ex-boyfriend, and I'm like, I moved halfway across the country. Absolutely not.
He followed you.
Absolutely not. It wasn't him though. The guy and I made eye contact and there was no flicker of recognition. I was like, that's not him.
That's too funny.
Okay. The next question was also asked by your friend. You said Mika, is that her name?
Mhm, that's her name.
Okay. So this next question was also asked by your friend Mika, and it says, it seems many people who enjoyed reading avidly as a child or young adult eventually took a hiatus and got back into reading after reading the one book. What were all of your experiences? And I can go first because I know exactly what mine was.
Tell us.
If you want, if that's cool.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, please.
Okay. So I stopped reading around the time probably that I hit 15, 16, 17. Um, I was probably around 17, and then every once in a while I'd pick up a book. I read The Hunger Games after that, but I pretty much had stopped reading because I thought it was like not cool to be like a book nerd.
Aw,
And that was like when I cared what other people thought of me. So I
aw,
just like
little Queen
stopped
Harley.
reading. I know. So I just stopped reading and didn't really pick a book back up until at our old apartment here in Austin, there was a no, it wasn't here in Austin, sorry. When we lived in North Texas, we didn't have any internet and we barely had any phone service. So like
Oh my god.
I reread a whole bunch of books that I'd already read and I was like, okay, well like this is fun. And then we moved to Austin and there's a library around the corner. Like I could walk. And I went in one day just to kind of like check it out or whatever and saw the cover of For Blood and Ash. And immediately was like, I have to read that because that cover is so cool. Um, so that was the book that got me back into reading. And I had so much fun. I think we talked last episode quite a bit about From Blood and Ash. I don't know if it stayed in the episode or not, but um after I read that, I binged all of those and then I read the Cruel Prince trilogy. And then one of my college friends saw that I was reading I think it was when I was still reading From Blood and Ash. She like messaged me, she goes, have you read Akatar? And I was like, no, like what's that? And she told me, so then the next time I went back to the library, I got the first Akatar. So I wound up going through all of those really, really fast. I think I read all 5 of the Akatar books that are out in like 2 weeks. And then I read all of Throne of Glass in like another 2 weeks. And then I read the Crescent City books back to back and just like went from there.
I love that. I think we talked about this maybe I think we talked about this in the intro episode too,
Yeah, a
where
little bit.
like I
Yeah.
think about ACOTAR specifically because for me, ACOTAR was also the book that got me back into reading. It's actually kind of funny. So I never really stopped reading, but I stopped frequently reading when I started college because I really had to try really hard in school for the first time in my life, and I had to read all the textbooks, and I was just so tired all the time, I, like, could not find the time to read for fun. And then I graduated during COVID, and I had a bunch of time, and I think maybe it was, like, right after, like, peak COVID. It's kinda funny, Mika's actually the one that suggested ACOTAR to me, and I was still kind of, like, in that phase where I was like, "Oh, this book's really popular, I don't wanna read it because it's really popular." But she was like, "No, no, no, I'm gonna start it, read it with me." And if you know me, you know I love doing something with other people, so I was like, "Okay, if you're doing it, then I'm doing it." And so I got ACOTAR, and I wasn't really working a ton at the time. I was, like, trying to, like, be a biologist, and they barely had any work for me, so, like, I had, I think, 4 days off in a row. I finished the whole ACOTAR series in those 4 days, and just literally just laid on the couch with my Kindle and just and just was reading for 4 days straight, and I was like, "Oh, oh, I'm fucking back. The bitch is back," and I just was nonstop after that. Um, yeah, and that's my reading journey.
So mine was I stopped reading as frequently in I want to say it was either like junior or senior year of high school, and I'm pretty sure it was just like I was burnt out from school and like, um and like that was COVID years, so that also I'm sure affected it, like just mental health for me was not the best then.
Mhm,
And then like going into college, I didn't read much because of I was like, I just don't have the time. And like I still like when I left home for college, I still brought a bunch of my books that I wanted to read with me. I just didn't pick any of them up during the school year. Um, but and then I picked up one of the books that I had. It's actually a book a friend of mine wrote, a friend I met in college. The book's called Here's to the Underdogs, and my friend's name is Shannon Ardsma, which not fantasy. I think she's working on a fantasy book, but right now, but that book isn't fantasy. And I started reading it. I had a I had a trip I was going on, so I brought it with me for the plane ride. And I read like half of it on the plane there. My flight back was super early, so I did not read the other half on the flight back. And then like getting back to school after that, didn't read. Didn't finish it for a while, but once I did finish it, I was like, I missed reading. Um, and I had a bunch of like freebie books that I had on the Kindle app, and so I was just blowing through those like, you know, one every couple days. I don't remember most of them. And that was when I got into reading. And at the time, I was also a resident assistant on campus, and I was talking about books with my resident director, and she brought up ACOTAR, and that was how I'd seen it on like Instagram, but I was like, I don't know if I want to read it because I don't know anyone personally that has read it. And then she recommended it to me, and so I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. And that's when I read ACOTAR.
It all comes back to ACOTAR.
Yeah, why is ACOTAR is the thing, it's the book that brought
Yep.
us all back. Alright, our next question comes from the lovely Jackie. What's a
Mhm.
tip you would give to people starting their booksta?
Don't tag authors in bad reviews.
True. I was just gonna say, like, just go for it. Like, I've seen a lot of people, and I think for me, like, I did this too, is like, should I do it? Will anyone care what I'm posting? And then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it, and I did it. So like, don't overthink it. Don't. be like, oh, but I have to figure out my aesthetic and it has to be perfect. It does not have to be perfect. Just like if you're talking about something that you love, people will want to follow along just because of that.
Mhm. Agreed.
Jackie, are you gonna start a booksta?
Jackie has a Threads.
I forgot that Jackie doesn't have a booksta,
No,
honestly.
it's just dead ass her personal book
I
Instagram.
know.
I know, that's actually really funny. No, but do you follow her on Threads, Nancy?
I do.
'Cause I don't go on Threads all the time, but I went recently and her Threads is literally only book content. Like, her Threads
Yeah.
is basically her booksta.
Yeah, I don't go on Threads very often, but I do follow her.
So
Um,
I've got a few people's post notifications on, but I realized pretty early on into following Jackie on there, like before her and I were even like really good friends or anything, I was like, this always makes me laugh so hard. So I turned her post notifications on, and now getting her out of context thread replies is the greatest joy that I've like ever experienced.
I might go turn on those notifications.
Yeah, I'm turning on Jackie's Threads notifications right now as we speak.
It'll be like the only notifications I receive on
Literally.
Threads.
The other tip that I would give to people is don't be afraid to be like your silly goofy self on Bookstagram, because the people who are like you, who enjoy hearing about like the funniest part of the book, or who like to look at your memes, or who want to see you being goofy and silly on Bookstagram or on Threads, they will find you. Like all the shit that we say about the algorithm, though, your people will find you.
I totally agree, and I wanna shout out to Kia because that's
Oh
her
my
aesthetic
god.
to a T. She's Chaotic Book Co. on Instagram. She's the cutest, she's so sweet, she's so genuine. I love
Mhm.
all her posts recently where it's just her, just being herself.
Yes.
It's so funny.
She is so funny.
Yeah, I don't know, I'd agree with you guys. You guys kinda hit the nail on the head. Just be genuine, have fun. Don't stress yourself out about the algorithm or needing to post, like, it's just for funsies. I would say, like, put yourself out there, comment on other people's posts, like, jump in people's DMs if you like their content or if you want to know what they think about a book. Because like, I love when people DM me and ask for my opinion about books.
Yeah.
Um,
That's how I found the coven, is I jumped in Nicole's DMs
oh my god,
and both.
really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so she posted something about Amazon, I think, was changing the commissions for their books, and I'd been seeing her book, like the algorithm was just like pointing me to Curse. It said, read this book, it's beautiful, you'll like it, read it. And so like I lurked following her for a while before I ever interacted. Like, I mean, I say for a while, like maybe like a week, not that long. And then she posted something about that, and I was like, oh, then what's the best place to buy your book to support you? And she told me, she was like really nice, like explain some stuff to me. She's At that time she was doing signed copies on her author website, so that, and she said, either on Amazon or from here, um, if you don't do KU, either on Amazon or from my website. And that was like the first really author interaction that I'd ever had, was that one. And she was so like so nice and so genuine, and was like excited that I asked about her books and wanted to read her books. Um, so then when I saw that she had a Discord server, I was like, I don't know what Discord is, but I'll come hang out with you over there.
I
And yeah,
love
that
that.
was
I
my
love that.
Nicole was my gateway drug.
That is a good point too, like, just message hit the authors, like, even if they have thousands of followers, like, I message authors all the time just like, "Hi, I just finished your book. It was the most amazing thing I've ever read in my life," and, like, I feel like they probably don't get as many DMs as you think they get, and even
Mhm.
if they do, it's like, I'm sure they enjoy hearing people directly telling them that they enjoyed their books.
Well, I was
I'm just
reading
assuming.
I was reading Sharita Week's third book. I was either reading City of Ruin or I was reading The Wolf and the Witch, which is second and third in her Witchwalker series. And that was when I used to do like live reacting in my story all the time. I don't do it anymore, but I don't do it anymore because then what if I actually hate the end of the book? So I don't want to like live react to the first part because that happened to me once and it was really embarrassing. And so I was messaging her, or I tagged her in the story where I was like, oh my God, is that what this means? Blah, blah, blah. She responded. And I was so excited because I think she's kind of a big deal. I got to meet her this last weekend. She was so nice.
I was gonna say, didn't you hang out with her?
I did. Yeah.
She's a big deal in my opinion.
Do you know she's like over 6 feet tall?
What?
Yeah. Okay. I'll have to send you the photo of her and I staying next to each other because I'm 5'9". She like is so much taller than.
My god, she's a tall mommy. I did not realize. I'm so sorry,
Yeah.
Teresa, for
She
that.
would laugh really hard at you calling her that. But she was so nice. And not that I wasn't expecting her to be nice. Like, of course, as a reader of it, like, of course she's going to be nice. But she was like also incredibly approachable and was like excited that people were there to like talk to her about her books. Which I know that
So
sounds
cute.
like, no, that sounds silly. But I think, again, she's like, in my opinion, someone who's kind of a big deal. So it wouldn't have surprised me if she was a little more snobbish about it. But she was so nice.
That's cute.
Yeah. We're friends now. So maybe she'll listen to the show.
Oh, I would love to have her on if she would like to
I
be
bet
on.
I'll ask her.
'Cause, I mean, doesn't she have her series isn't over yet, right? I
No,
really need to read it.
she's got two more books coming out. So she just actually made an announcement. Um, because she's been having a whole bunch of issues like with her publisher and stuff. It's way too complicated to get into on the show, but she finally has an update and is able to like start moving forward. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see the next book like towards the end of this year or early next year.
Oh, cool. Okay, well, I'd love to have
Yeah.
her on whenever that comes around.
Yeah, I'll definitely reach out to her. I met her and her PA. Her PA is like the nicest human being. Her name is Nikki. She's at like Stars Eternal 1812 or something like that on Instagram. And she did the live with Helen the other day.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay, okay.
that's Teresa's PA. She's so nice.
Oh, cute. Oh my god, that's so cute.
Yeah.
See, it's a nice place. It's a nice place out there. It's not as scary as you might think it is if you're trying to start your book stuff.
Yeah, it's a fun time. And the more fearless you are about like reaching out to people whose content you really enjoy, um, the more fun I think it is. I actually got the nicest DM from someone who's like very active on several of the discords, and her and I always end up with a bunch of the same arcs. We have very similar tastes. And so I like told her I was really excited to share the new books that I got like from UtopiaCon with her once they get here from Tay's house. And she was like, with me, I just love you. I think you're so cool, blah, blah, blah. And I was like,
Aw.
me? You think I'm
Aw.
cool? I was like, I'm just a fucking nerd over here. 3 raccoons in a trench coat.
No, that's Pen that's 3 raccoons in a trench coat. Don't try to
She's
fool
like
me.
7 raccoons in a trench coat because she's tall
Oh,
too.
you're right. You're right. She's like 9 feet tall.
Yeah.
I wanna end this by saying, if anyone's being mean to you on Instagram, I will be your big sister. I will defend you, so hop in my DMs if anyone's ever mean to you on Instagram.
Me too.
I like
I'll be mean to
conflict. I
them.
think we like conflict.
We do, yeah. Listen, my personal life is very settled, very conflict elsewhere.
Just I'm waiting for someone to try me. So if it happens to someone that I think doesn't deserve it, I will be there on your behalf.
I'm just like picturing it because I know you're like under 5 feet tall.
You need to watch out for the small girls. We have a lot of rage.
Yeah.
Only so much body to contain all that rage.
True. Okay. Our next couple questions come from Kyle. And it was just like a quick yes or no, but like I have a feel like at least one of us is gonna have stronger opinions besides yes or no. So do you guys dog ear?
No.
Yes.
Yeah. Nancy, why don't you?
I just like I have a ton of bookmarks for a reason. I can't bring myself to like bend the pages like that, like especially intentionally. Um it's one of those things that bothers me. Like if I loan a book out to someone and they dog ear the pages, I will be upset.
I would never dog ear the pages of anyone else's book, but my own personal copies, that's my business to do with them. But
Yeah.
okay, so you haven't read you haven't read The Lost God yet, but in our Discord server the other day, Sheila said, "You're like Rainer." And that answer just really just made me think of him. So keep that in mind when you're reading.
Okay.
Okay, do you break your spines?
Yes.
Not intentionally, but I'm
Okay.
not upset if they do get broken.
Um, I do because I like my book to sit open and I like it to be a little floppier. So if I break the spine, it tends to flop.
Mm,
Mhm. Mhm.
that makes sense. I just never tried to do it, but if it happens, I don't care.
Okay.
I like to fold my book in half so I can just hold it with one hand while I'm
Me
reading.
too.
Yeah, there you go. Oh my god, I actually kinda almost like, I low key ruined one of my books recently. Um, I was reading Her Soul to Take, and
How
I
was it?
it was fun. I'm gonna read the next 2, I just haven't yet.
I
It was a
have it.
lot of
It's
fun, I
waiting.
enjoyed it.
The cover
It's
was
like
sexy, so I bought it.
yeah, it's hot, it's fun. I mean, it's what you could ask for from that type of book. And the next 2 look sound like they're gonna be really good too. So I am planning to read them shortly, but my pages started falling out
My gosh.
because I, like, broke the spine so hard, like, the glue started coming out. But you know what? I don't think that's my fault. I think that's the book manufacturer's fault. I think glue your pages better. That's what I think.
Okay, so you're correct, but I have some bad news bears. The book that I was talking about is not Her Soul to Take. I just Googled it so I could said in the cover.
Oh.
It's A Soul to Keep.
Oh, wait. Hold on. I could just be misremembering.
There is
It's
a book,
by,
it's a dark romance. There is Her Soul to Take is a dark romance book. But the book that I'm talking about is A Soul to Keep. It's The Duskwalker Brides by Opal Rain.
Oh, okay. A Soul to Keep is on my TBR. Actually, I think it's literally on my Kindle waiting for me to read. But Her Soul to Take is the one that I broke the spine for by Harley LaRue. Yeah, that's the one that I broke. I loved her a little too hard, maybe one would say.
One could say that.
I'm still gonna try to get it signed by her when I go to Summers and Stardust.
I think she will love that you loved it so hard.
Okay, our third one?
Do you guys annotate your books?
Yeah,
I do occasionally. I don't do it with like every book, but I do for some.
yeah,
I do.
same.
I do for some as well. If it's a reread, like typically when I'm doing
Hmm.
reread, I'm getting ready for a release. Um, so typically if I'm doing a reread, I'm doing it in preparation for a release of a subsequent book in that series or like in that universe or whatever. So then I'm annotating.
Meditating threaded right now
You having a
for
great time?
that purpose. I am
Wait, which one are you annotating right now?
Threaded?
threaded.
Oh, that's fun.
I haven't
Yep.
been able to start the reread, you guys.
I'm very behind on the read along, so
My copies are both sitting at Tay's house still.
Oh, so it's Tay's fault.
Yeah, it's Tay's fault.
Mine is my own fault. I'm trying to read as many books by authors that are gonna be at Sinners and Stardust before August, so I'm
Oh
kind of
yeah,
just putting everything else on the back burner.
that's fair.
makes sense.
I need to see if there's anybody at Sinners and Stardust I wanted you or Jackie to swoop like assigned character art for before.
Oh, Cursor Broadbent's gonna be there.
I want a piece. If you can, if she's like giving out free character art or whatever, like with books, get me one and get it signed, please.
Sure. Will do. I
Thank
will
you.
do that. Mhm.
Appreciate it. I would love
Trying to
that.
think.
Isn't Allie Hazelwood also gonna be there or no?
Ah, if she is, then I missed that.
Oh.
I wonder. That'd be she's not really, like, dark romance vibes, but
No, you're right. I don't know why I thought she was gonna be there.
no, I don't know. I know there are some authors that are gonna be there that I don't really know super I mean, well, I've read, like, a couple of her books, but I don't think she's gonna be there. I'm not 100% sure. Who else is gonna be there? Brynn Weaver's gonna be there.
I don't know who that is.
Butcher and Blackbird.
Oh, I haven't read either of those.
I don't know why I thought you did. Well, I'll text you.
Probably
I'll text you.
okay. Yeah, we can get this back on the tracks. We've been here an hour and a
Yep.
half, and we still have a lot of questions to get through.
I
So,
know, I'm sorry.
okay, and then Kyle's last question for the stupid questions is the preferred reading method for everyone.
Oh, like Kindle or iPad or physical
Uh-huh.
book? Is
Well,
that what
Yeah.
he means?
yeah, yeah.
Okay. For me, my Kindle, just 'cause it's convenient. It's convenient, truly.
Mm. I think right now audiobooks, but like I like all of them for different reasons, but just because of how busy I am, audiobooks is my current preferred method.
Mine is also I like on my iPad. I like reading books digitally because I can take notes and um it's a lot easier when I'm doing like getting ready my stuff prepped for Instagram because I use quotes from books. So if I can just like
Mhm.
pull up the ebook and like look at the quotes that I highlighted for the specific purpose, and I can just copy and paste them right into
100%.
Canva. Yeah.
Oh, I guess that's another tip for bookstagrammers too.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, if you're gonna be using quotes, your Kindle's
Oh,
a
yeah.
useful thing to utilize.
Yes.
Okie dokes. Is it possible to own too many copies of one book? Slash, which book do you own the most copies of? And this was asked by Meredith.
No to the first question.
Hard no.
And yeah,
Yeah, I
hard
think
no.
we are all in
Um,
agreement there.
I own 4 copies of Threaded, and I think of a single book, probably that is the most copies that I own. Um, unless I count I think actually the Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, I might have more copies of that one because I've got a whole bunch, but we don't talk about Harry Potter, so
I think Threaded is the same for me, actually. I'm counting the signed hardcover, even though I don't have it in hand yet since I've paid for it. So, I have 3 physical copies counting that, and then and then I also have the ebook copy.
yeah, so
Um,
I have the ebook. I've got a hard an old cover paperback, the new cover
mhm.
paperback, and then I have another copy that Tay sent to me that was a misprint that I used for my book wall.
Mm, forgot about that. That's cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
I have the ebook, the old paperback, and the probably smut paperback, and then the signed hardcover eventually will be joining that one.
I have 5 copies of Spark of the Everflame by Pencool. I
5?
have
Wait,
I
can
have
I guess what you
5.
have?
Sure.
You have the ebook,
Uh-huh.
the
Oh, wait.
audiobook.
Wait. No. I'm not counting the ebook and the audiobook. I have 7 copies of
Okay.
Spark of the Everflame.
Okay, so you've got the ebook, the audiobook,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
you've got the paperback,
Uh-huh.
The OG paperback, the hardback,
Uh-huh.
um, the Italian version,
Uh-huh.
I don't know what other versions are out there. Are they foreign versions that you have the other ones? Of
No,
one.
I have 2 extra copies of the paperback.
Oh,
I
is you
I
holding on to them?
I'm just well, okay, so one of them I got from Amazon and she was like the spine was damaged and normally I don't complain, but this one was like annoyingly damaged and so I complained and they sent me another one. Um I do have an extra full set of paperback Kindred's Curse, just because.
You should hold on to those.
I will. I wanna get the German version. I literally have a tab up on my desktop 'cause I'm going to buy the German versions when
Is
I
that
have
the
some
other
extra
really
money.
pretty cover?
Yeah, yeah. And then I still need to order the Italian Glow because it's beautiful.
It is. Yeah. I just have no business, and like I love books. I just don't have any business having actually read sitting on my shelves. Maybe maybe I will get, but I'm expecting also like special editions at cons and stuff like that. So I just like I don't need 30 copies of Spark. I mean, I do, but like I really don't. That's taking up a lot of space that like I could have other authors' books sitting on my shelf.
That's fair.
Um, and I know Penn would support that decision, so
I definitely went overboard with Spark. Just a smidge.
did
Just
I
a
tell
little
you guys
smidge.
did I tell you guys I forgot I was fucking flying home from UtopiaCon, so I bought 18 books?
Yeah, you did.
I'm so fucking mad.
That's so funny.
Angry
At
at
least
myself.
you have you have lovely Tay to
I
ship
know.
them all to you.
She said she was gonna ship them yesterday, but then never sent me a tracking number or anything, so she might not have sent it yet.
Okay, we've made it to the silly, goofy questions section of this episode.
Yeah, we have.
I like this next question a lot because I'm a snacker. I love a snack.
Oh, me too.
And Christina asked us, "What is your favorite snack situation, if you will, while you read?" So specifically while we read.
Lime hot Cheetos.
Oh my god, those are good. The lime
That is my
especially.
all the time favorite snack.
That's good. That hurts my stomach, but it's good.
One time, all I ate was these fucking lime hot Cheetos. Like the whole day, that was the only thing I ate because I just like wanted to snack, and I took the
No.
most painful shit after that. My
Yeah.
my butthole burned. It's so
Yeah.
bad. Josiah made fun of me for like a week. I deserve to be fun of.
No, I ration those when I eat them because I like know I'm like I'm just gonna be in pain. I'm gonna like be in pain for so many days afterwards.
I don't have any self control, so
I like any salty snack, chips, popcorn. Um, chips just depend on my mood, I guess. Like
what kind of chips do you like?
I like Funyuns. I like any sour cream and onion chips. I like kettle chips. I like those twisty Fritos barbecue chips. Um, I like chips with guac or chips with salsa or chips with cheese.
Ooh, I do love chips and salsa. If we've got salsa, Josiah's mom makes really good homemade salsa, and sometimes she'll just like
Ooh.
bring some over. She'll be like, "I made salsa at home, so I brought you some."
Aw.
And that's literally Drew one time, or I guess you guys both, but Drew just said, one time we were coming home. Sorry, We were coming home from like his done us a favor, like stayed at our house for like a week for fucking free to like hang out with our and just stayed here. We came home and she had made in the crock pot soup for us so we didn't have to cook. Right when we got home from traveling for like 5 hours, she was like, I made soup for you guys. It's in the fridge.
Oh, that's so cute.
It is the sweetest.
That's sweet. I'm trying to think. I like to eat sweets too, that's why. Like I like a salty and a sweet together. Um, I've been really like lately I've been like ravishing the Costco like tiny chocolate chip cookies. Have you guys seen those?
Oh yeah, those are so good.
Mhm.
Those are oh my god, they're my favorite. And they're like chewy and delicious, so like I'll have like that next to me and like chips.
What
I
about you,
What
don't
about you?
Nancy?
I don't think I have like a favorite snack for reading. Like I tend to go for like I guess more salty snacks like chips or something like that, but um I I do love like when I sit down to read or write, honestly, like having tea, like hot tea.
Oh,
Um
you're
so
so cute. That's so that's so adorable. That's so sweet.
That is cute.
And then
What
there's
kind
me
of
and Harley, and we're just like,
yeah.
nom nom nom.
Nancy, what kind of tea do you like?
I have a few that I do, but I think Earl Grey is the one I gravitate to most.
Ooh,
Um,
Like any old Earl Grey or like a very specific?
Really, any that I have on hand. If I'm going to like a coffee shop and not in the mood for coffee and I want tea, I'll get a lavender fog there, which is like a Earl Grey tea latte basically um that has not London, lavender in it, called a London fog.
Oh, that sounds
Um,
delightful.
it is.
Wait, is that what a
so
London fog is? It's literally
Yes.
in it, like
Yeah.
steamed milk?
Hmm.
yeah.
Oh my God. I didn't know. Okay. Christina also asked this question, and this might be my favorite question that anyone asks because it's so funny. Which Coven author do you think you could take in a fist fight, and which author would hand your ass to? Okay, Penn's beating the shit out of me.
Oh,
Hands
yeah,
down.
Penn will
Penn is,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Um, who do I think I could take in a fist fight? That one's hard. I'm so sorry, Nicole, but I think I could beat you up.
I'm
I think
dead.
I could. I would never want to, but I could.
Um, see, I would have to I know that I could beat some people up just in general, like not Coven specific, but like just in general. Like I think I could take a grown man if my anger was there, but I really need the anger to bolster me. And I don't think I'd ever feel that way about any of the Coven authors. I mean, so I don't think I would just fight them.
I didn't think that was a choice. I thought we had to pick.
Okay, fine, fine, fine. If we have to pick, if we have to pick, I'm going with Kara because we're enemies to lovers, and we're still in our enemies phase. We're enemies to lovers to enemies. We're back to enemies again. Update.
Is she beating you up or are you beating her?
I think I'm beating her up because I think she's nicer than me.
Okay, which author is beating you up?
Oh, Pen, obviously. Obviously. I think Tay too, because she's also kind of scary. Like,
Okay, as someone who just spent the weekend with Tay, I think she could also beat the shit out of me.
okay, that I'm glad. I'm glad we both think so. I think actually, no, I think that if Sheila wanted to kick our asses, she definitely could.
Um, so could M. I feel like she, like you said, you got to watch out for the short girls because they're
Oh,
full of
that's true.
anger.
Yeah, I feel
That's
like,
true.
yeah. I don't know. Like I'm not a fighter, so I don't think I could beat anyone.
That's fair.
So uh
Who's beating you
also
up,
like
Nancy?
all of them.
Everyone.
They also
Oh.
like we've all read at what they write, like they have to at least do their research on those fight scenes too.
Oh my god,
So
I feel like Helen would fight dirty because she's a
Oh,
New Zealander.
Helen could Helen could snap my neck, and I would also tell her thank you.
Literally all of them could. All of them could.
But I don't know. Josiah fucks with me all the time, so I think I could get an upper hand on somebody. There's nothing that man loves to do more than like trip me and throw me off. Respectfully.
I will say though, because of who I am as a person, if someone were to say, "Oh, I could beat you in a fight," then I think I would play really dirty. I think I would beat them because I just can't have that happen to me.
That's very Leo of you.
Oh my god, that happened with me and, like, a different best friend of mine. Like, we've been best friends since elementary school. In elementary school, she was like, "Drew, I think I could beat you in a fight." And I went to private school, and I almost took that girl down in the playground. I was like, "Oh, yeah? Oh, you think so?" I didn't wanna get suspended again, though.
Again?
Yeah, I slapped a boy and got suspended.
Probably
Oh.
deserved it.
He didn't.
Drew was a bully confirmed.
It was a miscommunication trope. Oh my god! Oh my god, you guys are gonna love this. Miscommunication trope, we did end up dating in middle school.
Shut the fuck up, Drew. Oh my god, this is amazing.
Okay, speaking of dating, Christina also asked, if you had to replace your significant other with one fictional character, who would you choose?
Dorian from Charlotte Glass.
That's a good one.
Daddy forever, yeah.
He's hot.
Daddy Phantom Hands. Oh yeah, and he's a king.
Oh my god, you're right.
Yeah, Daddy
You're
Phantom
right.
Hands. Yeah.
Daddy Phantom Man. Okay, Nancy.
I think I'd go with Sebastian from the Elementals of Iona Duology.
Ooh.
That's hot. Yeah,
It
that's
is
a good
hot.
one too. It's a good one too. Oh, I'm kind of torn. I want to
Okay.
say
This could be a
it
why
is.
choose situation.
Oh, sure. Okay. Okay. So Graylin Garrison from Lunaria,
Yeah.
he's hot. Kara and I were just talking about this guy on Instagram too that like is such Graylin vibes. So I'm literally thinking about him right now.
Will you send his Instagram
Yeah.
profile?
Yes. 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 Yes.
Great.
And then the other one would be Slade from the Plated Prisoner series.
Ooh, yeah.
Because I love a would burn down the world for you type of man.
Mm.
I do too. Yeah.
Yeah. So those are my why chooses, I guess.
Perfect. Okay, the next question is also Christina. She just asked us a up. She said, what is your personal remedy for reading slump?
Okay, I have a couple. Mine is so usually when I get in a reading slump, it's for a specific genre. So I just switch genres and I'm usually good. Like I need to take a break from fantasy. I just read only like dark romance or contemporary romance and like vice versa. If I mean, the last time I went through like a reading slump where I couldn't read anything was we talked about this already, like literally in college. But
Mhm.
otherwise, I mean, I'll take a break. I'll like watch some shows. Um, I'll like take a break for a day and maybe like do a couple of my other hobbies, but I might not be the best person to ask this question.
I also might not be the best person to ask this question because I feel like I've been in a slump all year. Um,
Oh no.
like I think it's just life. It's not the books at all. Like I'm pretty sure all the books that I've read so far this year have been at least a 4-star. Um, so it's definitely not the books that I'm reading. It's just I don't have as much time as I would like to read, and when I do have time, I'm like, well, now my brain is just off. So,
Mhm.
but I think like for me, audiobooks help a lot with reading slumps. I know for a fact I had a few months last year where most, if not all, of the books I read in that month were audiobooks. Rereads, like comfort reads, help a lot as well, I think. Because those, like, they go quicker for me usually, because like if I'm just rereading for the sake of being back in a world that I missed or something like that, those go quicker and usually helps me with like moving on to the next book.
Yeah, so I'm right there with you. I had my answer prepared, you guys, and then as soon as I asked the question, every that I've ever about reading slump just went right out of my head. It was like stage fright, but um so mine is picking up, like Nancy said, an old favorite. So I've got like a group of like 4 or 5 books where if I'm like in a reading slump, I'm like, oh yeah, if I pick this back up, it'll be good. And it's never the conclusion to the story. So like one of the books, for example, is Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas. It falls right in the middle of the Throne of Glass series. So it doesn't like bum me out again that it's the very end of the story.
Mhm. Oh, that's fair. Okay. That makes sense. I wanna make an addendum to mine. Smut. That's it.
Yeah.
100%. Like,
Good add-on.
'cause the last time I was in, like, a reading slump, I couldn't read any fantasy, like, just it was really hard for me, but if I was just reading straight up smut, like, books that, like, barely had a plot, it was just easy because it's, like, there's not really much to follow. You're just falling in love with a demon or something, and it's a good time. There's no thoughts, only horny.
I didn't realize I was muted still.
No, I was like, "Oh, okay."
No one thinks you're funny, Drew.
No, I was laughing. Just no sound came out, I guess. But yeah.
Oh, Nancy, your pre-words. We forgot about your pre-words.
I did forget about pre-words.
Well, I was hearing you when you were starting your sentence this time. Like, it wasn't as bad as the last time we
That's
recorded,
good.
so I didn't think about the pre-words.
Okay. Um, if you weren't a reader, what other hobby would you be completely obsessed with in the same capacity? Um, it would be another creative venture
Mhm.
probably for me.
I can think of a few hobbies that like I would want to devote more time to. I think if I were a reader, I also would not if I weren't a reader, I also wouldn't be a writer. Most likely cuz those two kind of go like hand in hand as far as like being a writer, you're typically reading as well. I think I used to be like really big into music. Like I was in band in high school and a band and choir in college. But I've since I don't have like that environment that school provided me for that outlet, I haven't been doing it as much. So maybe that or like acting. Like that would be another hobby I would love to be more into.
Ooh, that's cool.
I regret not being a theater kid in high school. I I should have done it, but again, being in band took up like my entire time, so I didn't.
I actually regret that too, and it's because I was so self-conscious about everything that I did. I just was like so scared I would like fuck everything up if I was
Mm.
involved in like any theater productions. I just never did it.
Oh my god, do you guys wanna know something so funny?
Yeah.
I was a theater kid, but I wasn't necessarily a theater kid in my school. I like, during the summer, I would stay with my dad and my grandma would put me into, like, the drama program, um, in this pretty well-known, theater on Oahu, and so I would do that during the summer, and then I'd come back to my high school, and I did this one summer. I came back after summer, and I tried out for Beauty and the Beast, and because of who I am, I didn't get any of the lead roles, and so I quit. I was like, "No, this is not right," and I just quit. I was like, "I'm not gonna be a background character here."
I did do a total of 2 plays, like, the entire my entire life I've been in 2 musicals. One was at a community theater that's, like, 5 minutes, if that, from my house. And my older brother did a lot of plays there, and so I was like, I want to say 10 or 11, and they were doing Seussical, and so I wanted to do plays with my brother, and my parents were like, well, you can
Aw.
audition for this one. So I was in the ensemble for that. And then I did my senior play in high school, which that was interesting because we still had to like we had to perform it outside because of COVID. And we
Oh my
had
god.
I don't remember if we had to wear the masks for the actual performance, but I know we did for the practices. I think we did for the performances too.
Oh, that's so hard with theater too, like, it's all about your face.
Yeah. So that was interesting. That musical was Joseph in the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, which if you're not
Mhm.
familiar with, that is a musical retelling of the story of Joseph from the Bible. He was the one with
Oh,
12 brothers that, you know, sold him into slavery in Egypt. And he was the one that could interpret dreams. Um, so I had a small part in that one, and I was one of the Pharaoh's servants, the baker, which was one of the servants that was thrown into prison. And I was the one who had the dream that predicted being executed.
oh,
Oh, love that for you.
Yeah,
That sounds fun though, that's super
it
cool.
was fun. And my boyfriend was the one cast as Joseph. So that was also fun.
is that how y'all met?
No, we
Oh,
met in band freshman year of high school.
Aw.
have you guys been together that long?
We we've been together 5 years. We got together in sophomore year.
Oh my gosh,
That's cute.
baby.
That's cute.
I always forget that you're so much younger because I'm like, oh, 5 years. It's like, that's a long time. You're like, that was sophomore year. And I was like, that's a long time.
No, when you said that you were doing high school when COVID hit, I was like, "Oh, okay." After I had just been like, "Yeah, we're pretty close in age," me trying to be like, "Yeah, I'm so young. I'm so
Drew, what
young,"
year
and
did you graduate high school?
2015. I have my 10-year coming up next
Next
year,
year.
and they're, like, starting to plan for it, and I'm like, "No.
Okay,
No,
you're
thanks."
closer. I was like, you're closer in age to me than to Nancy.
That's true.
Okay.
Oh, wait,
Our
I didn't answer
Oh,
this
I'm so
question.
sorry. I thought you went first.
No, 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 you're
My
good, you're good. I wanted to let you guys go first because I have a lot of hobbies. Um, like, not even joking, like, okay, so I played video games for a long time, and I got super into that, like, I could probably sit and do Minecraft in the same way that I read. I like to sew. I do that, like, that's another one where I could just, like, sit and do that for a whole day and, like, not even realize the day's passed. Um, I like to crochet, and I do, like, a lot of random DIYs. So, I have a bookshelf that I'm trying to refurbish, that I've been trying to refurbish for, like, weeks now that's just sitting outside waiting to be painted. Um, but yeah, so if I had to not be a reader, I do have a lot of other hobbies, but I have not been doing any of them at all since I got back into reading.
I do think another hobby that I forgot to mention for me is like, and I'm getting into this now, but I might have gotten into it earlier if I wasn't reading so much, is Dungeons and Dragons and like other role play esque type of games. Um, I think that's another thing, like that takes a lot of time to really get the hang of. So, um, that's another one I could see myself being like as on the same level as.
I would do that. Dungeons& and Dragons looks like a lot of fun.
I
Fun.
asked Libby to teach me. I didn't insist that hard, but she's going to.
Nice.
Fun. I want to join. I know that she shared a server. I would I would do it with Libby because I trust her and I feel like she'd have like a really fun, welcome, open environment to
Mhm.
play in.
I just think Libby's really fun. I don't know if she
I
I don't
think
actually
Libby's
know if she
so
listens
cool.
to the show, but I think she does. Libby, if you're listening, you're so cool.
Like
She'll
I
get
think she's
tagged
so cool.
when Jax does her cameo corner for this episode.
Perfect. There's gonna everyone in the entire server is getting tagged because everyone sent us questions, except for Jenny.
Oh, that's
Jenny,
surprising.
I directly asked her.
Did you tell her not to ask questions?
No, I texted her and said, "Do you have any questions?" And she said, "No, I'm bad at asking questions." So she didn't ask us anything. And then Jackie came back with her 2 questions that she
That's so funny.
had. Okay.
Okay.
Nicole requested that we do FMK with book villains. Drew, do you want to go first so I don't forget about you again?
Oh, sure. I mean, we basically have
Hmm,
the same ones, so
we do,
I
yeah.
would I'd fuck Kellen from Dagger and the Forbidden Air. I would marry Kato from The Lost God, and I would kill literally every other book villain out there because fuck them all.
Yeah, that's pretty much. I did specify a villain, but I like your. So I'm gonna go
I
with that.
couldn't choose.
We're gonna be sister wives.
Okay, wonderful.
And would be so disappointed if I said anyone that wasn't Kellen after how thirsty I fucking her server for months.
And I think that just goes to show, like, how
Mm.
well M wrote Kellen because he's the fucking worst. I hate him. I hate him. I hate him so much, but I would be down because he's hot.
He's fucking disgusting. He's vile.
The
But
the worst kind of man.
but
But
and same thing with Cato from the Lost God. He's literally the trickster god. Um can be kind of fun. I mean, like it's a daddy I can fix him moment, but like
yes,
that'd be kind of fun.
he can change. He can grow.
And you just know Sheila said that he is like a perfect dick, so
I don't remember that, but wonderful.
it was at some point in her Discord server she meant that. Like it's not in the books anywhere, like she didn't say that in the books, but
But
she
it's
said that
canon.
like it's can yeah, she said it's like perfect. Like perfect length, perfect girth, everything. And I was like,
Fantastic.
that wouldn't
Husband
be so
dick, if
bad for
you
the
will.
rest of my life. Yeah.
Nancy, what are
Alright.
yours?
So, I would fuck Locke from The Cruel Prince. Marry the Dark God from Long Live. And I know I'm gonna. You guys said multiple technically for kills, so I'm gonna say to Julian Laurent and Vincent Shoth from Threaded. I was like struggling to remember their names, even though Tay literally told me like
You
a few
just told
hours
you?
ago. Like
Wait, that's
I,
the dad's name?
Julian,
Julian? Yeah.
Ugh,
Julian Laurent. Like I
sure.
was like, and that was in the back of my head. I was like, I think his name is Julian, but I'm not sure, so I'm gonna ask.
Oh, you were right. Yeah, you say name.
I think it would have been funny if you just did it and that was the wrong name. A little bit. Only a little funny.
It would have been funny, but if I wasn't confident about the name, I would have just said Andrian's dad.
Yeah.
And then, okay, Jax asked, "Fuck, Mary kill Disney villains."
Nancy, you gotta go first. I think you might be the only person who actually
Yeah,
knows
I didn't
for
prepare.
sure. I didn't either.
Gonna As soon as both of those questions were asked in the server, my mind went blank on just all villains. So I was like, I need to have this ready. I did bend the rules on this one a little bit. I extended it to like franchises that Disney owns, even if they weren't initially owned by Disney.
Mhm.
So I said Anakin Skywalker and fuck Anakin Skywalker, marry Loki, obviously. And who did I say? Oh, for kill, I said Gaston. Because, like, with most villains, I feel like they could be redeemed and or fixed or at least tolerable, but he's just a sexist asshole, so.
I also said kill
Fair.
him. That's the only one I like thought of. I was like, yeah, he can go.
I was like scrolling through a list of Disney villains and I was like, I can't think of any others that I really hated. Like, there's still the others are like they're villains, but like he's just a dick.
Fair.
You know what? I'll fuck the villain from Frozen. I'm not gonna say who it is because there's a spoiler if you haven't actually seen the movie. I'd fuck
Oh,
him.
good idea. Good idea.
So I
Who am I gonna
can see
marry
that.
though? Thanks, Nancy. Who's the villain in Cinderella?
uh,
The stepmother.
isn't it?
Oh,
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not gonna marry her. Just kidding. Well, who is the villain in that? Um, I gotta.
Do you want to steal who I'm gonna marry?
Yeah, why don't you go?
Um, I would. Okay, so I would fuck Hades because I feel like
Mm.
he'd
Oh
just be
fuck!
fun.
I forgot about him. Is he really a villain though?
He's technically the villain.
I'll fuck him too. Actually, we're being sister wives over here.
Perfect, perfect. I'm marrying Maleficent because she a bad bitch. I think she's mommy. I think she'd take care of me.
Okay, I thought about that, but you know what? I'm actually gonna marry Hades because I also get to fuck him if I'm married to him. I'll
Oh,
keep my
true.
other two, but I'll marry Hades.
Okay, perfect. Um, I'm killing uh the bad guy from Frozen.
Can I at least bang him first?
You can bang him first, sure.
Great, thanks.
Sure.
Harley, did you pick him because he's a redhead?
No, I actually picked him because, um, one, he's an adult, so there's that. Um, well, a lot of
Dead.
our villains are like 17, 18, 19. He's like a whole adult in the story. Um, Also, he seems like he'd be a good time. Anyone who can like be that fucking
Lie that
vile,
well?
yeah, take him for a little tumble.
Take him for
Okay,
a tumble.
yeah. Um, okay. The last question that we have for all of us is if you could be an animal, what would you be and why? And that came from our darling Jackie.
Easy. I would be a house cat because that's the vibe I feel like I give. I want to be taken care of. I want to lay in the sun. I want to have no worries.
That's
That's it.
pretty much what I was gonna say.
Yeah, I would want to be like a rich old lady's house cat.
Oh, I want to be like a caracal though. Like I want to be like an exotic cat that gets like cuz I want to belong to a hot girl who feeds me raw meat daily.
Very good. Okay.
Oh, so wait, are we all cats?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay. Our last couple things come from Truth or Dare submitted by Christina on our Discord server. Each of us picked either Truth or Dare yesterday. And so Nancy was the only one to pick Truth. And her question was if you have no choice but to read only one author's works for the rest of your life, who would it be?
I should have prepared this one actually, and I'm regretting not picking Dare, honestly, because this is a really hard question.
I'll trade you. I'll answer this question if
Um,
you do my dare.
Oh.
I'm bad at improvising singing, so I'm just gonna make a decision.
She's like your dare is worse actually.
Like I like singing, but just making something up on the spot is hard. I can't decide.
Do you need time to think about it? We can come back to it.
Yeah, Harley can sing while you
Yeah,
think.
I can sing while you think.
Trying to think of someone who like has a lot of books out that I enjoy. I think I'm gonna say I'm gonna just say something and go with it. Holly Black's writing style is very
Oh yeah.
unique, and she has, I don't know how many books out, but she has a lot out, and she's still writing, so I'll go with her. Because the only books I've read by her so far are the Cruel Prince series, and I would definitely reread those too. But like, she's got a
Her
lot out that I haven't read yet.
The House of Night. I don't know if I think it's House of Night.
Book
I
of
loved
Night?
it. Book of Night. Yeah, that
Yeah.
one.
I've heard
Very
really
good.
good things about that one too.
The female
What's the
main
kids book?
character, Spiderweb Chronicles.
That one's good too.
Yeah. Um, the female main character in House of no, Book of Night. Sorry, I don't know why I'm stuck on House. And she is unlikable in very similar ways that Jude also comes across as unlikable. So I think if you really like Jude like I did, you will like the main character in that book.
Mm. I would say I like Jude since I did a cosplay of her.
Yeah. And I mean like in the best way. I think she's a very flawed, complex character, but I think she's very easy.
I really love like complex characters like that. Like just at face value, it's like, yeah, you know, it's easy to hate this person, but then when you like study their character more, it's like, okay, I don't hate them as much. Like they're, you know. Um
Yeah.
like it's all those layers like to a character, especially because they're so flawed, it makes them more real.
Mhm.
So
I think since like with younger main characters too, like I have a lot more. I don't know if forgiveness is the right word, but like I accept it more. I'm like, okay, like you're young, you're learning. It's like it makes sense.
Yeah,
yeah.
I think I do too. Like if I think again, since we're talking about Jude, I'll just keep talking about her. Sorry, Drew.
No, you're fine.
But like I think about the person that I was when she's 17, 18, maybe crossing into
Yeah.
19 through the series. So she's very much just coming into being an adult. Well, I was a fucking bitch when I was 17, 18, and 19. Like I was a nightmare. So if you like when I'm really thinking about that, I have to consider the fact that she's a literal child or coming into her adulthood. I think the same thing about um Feyre and Nesta and Elaine in the first ACOTAR book and their lives previous to the first ACOTAR book. I think about that about Selena and
Mhm.
the first few books of that series. Like these are very, very young female main characters. And like I was not perfect when I was that age.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed. I think it's time for you to sing, Harley.
Yeah. I'm so red right now. Okay. I'm gonna use the same line that I used earlier. So Drew, can you give me a beat to sing to?
Oh my god. Boom boom tss, boom 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 tss, boom. Sorry,
I'm
right.
crying right now. Okay, let me get it
Okay,
together.
do you want me to keep going? Do I need to keep going?
No, you're okay, thank you. I'm crying right now. That was amazing. Thank you.
Dead.
Okay. Now Xander was all unspent thunder and wasted lightning.
My stomach hurts.
Mine too.
Thanks, Christina. This was really
Thank you
funny.
so much, Christina.
Oh my
Okay,
god.
Drew, I think it's time for your dare.
All right, we're gonna get into the author corner. If you couldn't tell, my dare is to do the entire author corner in an accent. As she said, also an impression, but I don't really do impressions. Um, so the author in our author corner is Victoria Aveline, and she is a romance author.
You're doing so good.
She's a romance author, and she has a series called the Clickania series. It is about aliens. It's an alien romance, and Tay is actually the one who introduced me to her. It's so fun. This isn't really a spoiler, but the aliens are hot, and that wasn't an I don't know where the accent is going. I think we're British now. And the aliens are hot, and their dicks, no, not the dicks, just in general, they vibrate. So that's fun.
Oh, that's nice.
Um, yeah, it's a not a good time. It's a good time. The first book in the series is called Choosing Theo, and here is the blurb. Being kidnapped by aliens is only the start of Jade's problems. Thankfully, her rescuers, an alien race known as the Clickanians, are willing to protect her. But she has to stay on their planet for 1 year and respect the rules of their culture, including choosing a husband. Jade refuses at first, but decides to play along until she can find a way back to Earth. And um I'm a part of Victoria's Patreon. She has some really fun character art on there, and I believe there are 7 books in the series currently, and she's expected to release another one sometime this summer. So if you are interested, you can find her on Instagram at Victoria Aveline Author, VictoriaAveline Author, or TikTok at Victoria Aveline. That was hard.
That was amazing.
I love doing accents, but I've never done one like with having to read something. So that was kind of hard.
You were doing a little switch in between accents.
Yeah, I don't know where I started. I started somewhere and then I ended in Bridgerton.
Yeah.
It was so fun.
Oh man.
Thanks.
Thank you so much, Christina.
Yeah, thank you, Christina. That was fun.
Those dares were hilarious.
A lot of these questions came from Discord, so if you guys aren't a part of our Discord yet and you want to be involved in our next Q&A episode whenever we do one, please feel free to join. It's a lot of fun. We dick around a lot, and it's a good time.
Right. Well, until next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for hanging out with us today, guys. Follow us on Instagram at Bound and Book Podcast. My personal Instagram is at Undercover Faye.
You can find me over at HJK Reads. That's my initials. It's a fun time over there.
And you can find me at Nancy Reads and Writes on Instagram as well.
Thanks for reading with us, motherfuckers. Bye.
Bye.
I am